So we are going to,
Actually, you
Take
don't
no
need to,
action.
we're just removing them.
yeah,
you're
yep,
good.
so we're gonna remove those, we'll see those next month. Okay, item number 6, treasurer's report.
Right, I have, given copies of the profit and loss and the balance sheet, and see that we had cigarette tax of $11.99, plus some change.
Smoke more.
Right, and lodging tax total was $144,947.81. Sales tax this month, last month was $224,003.87. Use tax is $5,599.01. So that brings us a total profit loss of $345,898. Balance sheet basically just shows the balance in our account less our outstanding invoices.
Okay.
That third page, I just included, and, you know, I'm trying to find copies of all the contracts that we've approved so far and just get
That's a great
running,
idea.
total of contracts we have and how much we owe on them. So if you guys have some information on the header copies, I'm still looking in my stack of.
Anything you need, check
Documents.
with me first, cause chances are it's at least
Okay.
come across my email.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
try to save them, so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And to add to that, what we need to do is keep up with that running total.
Right.
Right.
The $791, I think is what we've got appropriated.
Right, yes,
So
exactly.
we need to keep up with that running total.
And now that we have a temporary pay online, we will see an increase in lodging tax.
Yes.
Cause I talked to one of my dudes today that he hasn't made a single payment, and he called me today and he says, is it up? I said, do it. And so he's got 3-4 months, he's got to post today.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Because a lot of these people don't have checkbooks.
Okay. Do we have a motion to, is that it?
That's it? Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve the report.
I'll second it.
Okay, who made the motion?
I did.
Todd? Okay,
That's
Janet,
it.
is a second. Okay, roll call vote, Howard?
Yes.
Okay, Chad?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Janet? Yes. Guy? Yes. Okay. Treasurer's report is accepted. Okay, presentation by Ryan Consulting for their monthly updated services. George, do you wanna get an update on that? Do you want me to?
I don't think I've got,
Ryan's?
mayor's,
Okay, okay. Basically, the action items that have been accomplished is we have online lodging tax payment for the town, which has been fabulous, but it was a ton of work to get that up and running. But it's up, and then in about January, the full system will go live, but at least this is a temporary pay here so that they can get it done. The other thing is the official town email is up, so you should have C. Sargent, T. McDaniel, J. Press.
Mine was misspelled on there, but it's still correct. I mean, if you wanna email me through, hochtown.gov,
Gov.
spell it correctly, not misspelled like it was on the sheet.
Well, I'm just curious, mine, I've been trying to go through the process of doing it, and it keeps telling me that I have to use some kind of secondary security authentication, and I can't seem to get past that.
Well, if you will go to my store
Yeah.
and ask for Jerry, she'll fix you right up.
You probably need Duo or something.
And I'm trying to do it on my phone too, and that may be.
Yeah, she can do it.
Okay. Yeah, you and I will go to
Right, Jerry.
101
Yeah,
when we get through this.
Like Microsoft account.
Yeah.
You have to have for-
Yeah, well, they had me downloaded this app,
Yeah.
and then from there, but I can't seem to, it just keeps kicking me back to the same starting point. I can't seem to get past a certain spot.
And do we have those posted on the website?
Well, we will.
Once
We need
everybody's
to go in
functioning. Okay.
and get it functioning, and then you have a temporary password, and then you need to go in and put your confidential password in. And then we'll have those listed for everybody so that they can, and we will continue to have a, info app that everybody will have access to. But if somebody specifically feels comfortable talking to Chad, or if, you know, Janet or Todd is on a particular committee that someone wants to ask a question about, they can just email you directly. So, okay, and then we'll have a general one that everybody can have access to. So that's pretty much
Is
what
the
we.
general one gonna change to, that, away from Gmail or
Yes.
instead of Gmail?
No, we're gonna move away from Gmail and, you know, get all those emails addressed, whatever those questions were, and then close that account. You know, maybe leave it open for a while that says, please use the town official
Just
email
have an
address, you know,
response.
and just, yeah, forward it to that, so. But that's kind of the bulk of what we accomplished this month, that you can actually see the results of, okay?
The job postings.
Oh yeah, job postings are up, we're already getting applications for a town administrator. I'm gonna talk more about that when we get down to, I haven't put them down here, I'll look it up. But anyway, we've just posted it on all the easy places, OML, OMAG, obviously on our own town website, sending it to the people that we already know that are in this industry.
Will we be able to review those applications from somewhere?
The trustees are the ones who have to make the decision
Yeah.
on who it is, so yeah, they'll all get compiled and.
I guess, right, is there a way we can look at them through the process, or do we have to wait until they're all put in one spot, or can we view them?
It's probably just easier to wait for right now,
Okay.
because they were kinda gonna rank, these are the people who meet the qualifications, these are the people that don't meet the qualifications, so that we can at least have them in order of,
Well, maybe we could at least provide like a weekly update on
Yeah, how
what
many we have.
applications we have or
Okay.
something. Is that doable maybe, George? Just to be like, hey, we've got 10 applications, here's a few interesting ones, just so, one, so we can get excited about
Yeah.
getting it
Yeah.
done.
And
That'd be
keep-
good, because if they individually reach out to us, I'll be going, who is this? You know?
well, and remember that a lot of people submit these confidentially, so we wanna be careful about just
Right,
distributing the information, cause a lot of people haven't told their boss they're applying for this job.
right.
So we kinda need to.
Well, certainly don't be sharing it beyond you all until you make a hiring decision
Yeah.
for legal reasons.
Okay, are you good, Todd?
Mhm.
Okay. Item number 8, discussion, consideration, and possible action to amend the regular monthly Board of Trustee meetings for 2024 to reflect the newly assigned physical address for Hochatown Hall of 101 Rock Oak Lane, Hochatown, Oklahoma 74728. The location is not changing, only the assigned physical address. Rock Elm is the next street to the south, so Rock Oak kind of made sense for us to use on this street, so that we have a very distinct address here, so people aren't confused which of the 10 buildings they're supposed to be in. So that's really all that was, it's just a change from 911 for a physical address. Howard?
You got Rock Oak Lane, Hochatown.
Mhm.
Are we?
That is our official town
Yeah,
name,
we're
yes,
comfortable
that's
with
not a
it's not
mailing
mailing
address, this is a
anything.
physical
You
address.
Physically use that, okay?
Yes, it's a physical
Okay,
address.
okay,
Yep, okay. I spent lots of time talking to the post office this
okay,
week.
that's good for you.
Yep, okay.
Wanted to make sure.
So, do we have a motion to approve the new address from 911?
I make a motion to approve the address from 911.
Janet, okay, do we have a second?
Second,
Howard, second. Okay, roll call vote. Howard,
yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Di. Yes, okay. Motion approved to change the address. We'll get that changed on, Google and the signs out here.
Well,
and-
we'll do the change on our
Annual.
annual notice that we send to the election board and the county board, so
Yeah.
I'll get with
That's
Helen
one
to
reason
get
we
that
really
done.
wanted to get that done today, because that has to be posted by the 15th, so. Did you-
Is any of these people on the agenda? Do we wanna skip ahead? Is anybody on the agenda?
I don't think we have any
No,
speakers on the
No, I
agenda.
don't say we're- okay, item number 9, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the possibility of moving the Welcome to Hochatown sign in Hochatown city limits.
This was added last minute, so
Yes,
this
this
was
was
not
added.
on your packet that you got
Yeah.
last week.
So what happened is the owner of the property where the sign is now, south of town, has asked for that sign to be removed from that property. And it is the responsibility of Broken Bow, the city of Broken Bow, to move the sign. But they asked us if we wanted the sign, and if we want the sign, then we can decide where to move it to. I think what I would like is to not take any action on this today, but just to give everybody notice so that we can be thinking about what's it gonna cost to move it, is it worth it to move it, is that the logo that we want for ourselves? So there's a lot that still needs to be discussed. I wanted to go talk to Philip, you know, when does it need to be moved, what needs to be moved, I mean, it's rocked in, it's got electricity to it, it's not gonna be a small expense to do something
And
with
do you
that.
have a place to move it to?
That's what I'm
Is there
saying.
gonna have to
We've
be
got-
some land or?
I think we kinda have three options, I mean, we could move it to the south end on the east side, which is where our town of Hochtown limit sign is. We could go up north and look, but you know, you're on a curve and on a bridge at Tingley Hill, so I just don't know, but you know, I mean, we could put it up here somewhere, it says welcome to Hochtown. I think it just needs a little more discussion.
Does it have I'm assuming it has a permit,
Yes, yes,
so the owner's contingent upon that permit elapsed, and he shouldn't be able just to say he wants to.
Oh,
Did
no,
he ask for it to be removed?
yes, he asked for it to
Or
be
is it just
removed, and
saying
that's
he's
in the
gonna
easement,
remove it?
yes, he
Okay.
has the authority to ask for it to be removed, and
Okay.
it's up to it's the town of Broken Bow, city of Broken Bow's responsibility to move it, there's,
I think that's the option.
you know, till we want it before they take a sledgehammer to it.
I think it's a beautiful sign.
Yeah, they're gonna donate the sign to us.
Yeah, I think it's a
Now, they
beautiful
probably
sign.
want us to pay to move it, which, I mean, that could make it prohibitive right there, you know, if someone wants to give you a mobile home, but you gotta pay to move it.
FYI, I went down there and found out about this, I drove down, I'd never walked up to the sign, that thing's huge. It's in separate aluminum sections, those are aluminum 4-foot wide sections, the whole sign.
Then that wouldn't be that
It's all just screwed into the
Yeah.
wood,
Yeah.
beautifully painted, but that's 3/16 aluminum plate, that's what it is.
I think it's a beautiful sign.
It was an expensive sign,
Well, I can imagine,
you know.
the sign itself, the metal parts of the sign, the welcome, all the other stuff, that could be taken down in sections and stored. As far as the concrete structure, you're not gonna
Yeah.
save any of that, you're not gonna save any of the wood, or the,
You're gonna have to
rock.
redo that.
Yeah.
The wood structure behind it, is it worth it? My question to Broken Bow would be, if we just take the sign, if we take the sign, are we now responsible for the demolition and the cost of demolition?
That's my first question for them, I wanna go talk to Philip,
And if it is, I'm not sure we want the sign.
right,
I'd rather get our own design and build our own sign later on. Still
Well,
want
that
to
was
work with
my
our
issue from the
design
get-go, was
But anyway,
doing a logo for Hochtown, and that
Exactly.
sign doesn't match our logo.
exactly,
so,
that's my point. Okay.
Well, what we'll do then is maybe do some info gathering that I can share with you guys
Okay.
individually before the next meeting, and we can bring it back up then and make a decision that we do or don't want it.
Mhm.
But this, we wanted to hurry up and put it on here so you guys had time to think about it before we're in a situation where they say we need to know it tomorrow.
are y'all good with that, just
Yeah.
gathering from,
That's
okay,
good.
okay, so,
Take it away.
take no action. Do we need to vote on taking no action?
Yeah, I would need
Yeah.
to take no action, that way, if there's someone who wants to take action, they can speak up.
Okay, do we have a motion to take no action on the Hochtown limit sign?
Make a motion, we take no action.
Yeah, okay, we have a second?
A second.
Second. Okay, roll call vote, Howard,
Yes.
Jan?
Chad,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Diane? Yes, okay. We will take no action on the sign. Item number 10, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve resolution number 8, resolution of the governing body of the town of Hochtown expressing the intent of the town of Hochtown to comply with and operate in accordance of the Municipal Budget Act and to begin application of this act effective with the budget for fiscal year 24-25. As y'all recall last year, you know, we didn't have an estimate because we had no idea how much money we would have. And, Charles has visited, you know, the finance committee has visited, so, do you wanna add anything else to that, Charles? Or you want me to-
I handed everybody a copy of the email that we got from Mr. Crawford, CPA, and that was his response, that it's time to start thinking about it, if it just move forward,
It's all about the time, we
The
have to
time
do some
getting started.
publications and reportings,
Yeah.
so many
I see
days
it, I'm trying to look at it.
in advance
Yes.
of the fiscal year, and that's what we didn't have time to do this fiscal year. Not that we didn't wanna do it, we just didn't have time to get it.
Takes months to get it back into public notice of your budget and all that stuff.
So if we need to start doing it now,
we need a resolution, or we need to approve the resolution that we are agreeing as a board that it's time to move forward and go to the municipal budget act.
Yeah.
And then we go from there.
And that's your resolution number 8 in your,
Yeah.
packet.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull that out. Okay, just read the whole thing? Yeah. Okay, alright. Moving right along here. Okay, so do we have a motion to approve resolution number 8, moving to the Municipal Budget Act?
I'll make that motion.
Okay?
Second.
Second, okay, roll call vote, Howard,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Janet?
Yep.
Back? Yes, okay. Resolution number 8 has been passed. Charles and Howard, you guys gonna get with Frank on that?
Yes.
Yeah, I knew you were on job. Glad to hear you say it.
Already been done.
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Okay,
And then I'll need, before we leave today, I'll need that signed, and I guess Helen will have to, when she's feeling better, I need her
I can get it from
Yeah.
Debbie tomorrow.
to, so we'll make a pack thing of things to
Mhm.
sign here.
We'll make courier runs on
Yeah.
Item number 11, discussion, consideration, possible action to approve resolution number 9, the resolution of the mayor and board of trustees of the town of Hochtown, McCurtain County, state of Oklahoma, notifying the public of the publication of the town of Hochtown Code of 2023, directing the town clerk to file a copy of this resolution with the McCurtain County clerk, directing the town clerk to file a copy of this resolution and the code with the McCurtain County Law Library, directing the town clerk to keep at least 3 copies of the code in the office of the town clerk for public use, inspection, and examination.
Damn, that was a mouthful.
Yeah,
I
so
know it, but I'm just running around here.
this is just a requirement now that we have
Yeah.
published our required publication in the newspaper. Now we pass this resolution letting everybody know where it's gonna be stored. It's out on the website already, and we did a QR code in the newspaper to make it easy for people to access it, so, this is just the last stamp of approval we need to make everything official, and then I'll get with Helen to make sure we do the 3 things at the bottom we need to do as far as having copies submitted to the various places.
So do we have a motion to approve resolution number 9 on our publications and notice?
Make a motion, we approve resolution number 9.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Chad?
Yes.
Okay, roll call vote. Howard?
Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 9 has been approved. Okay, we're on item number 12, page 2, hang on a second, I'm giving me a new little note-taking plan here. Okay, item number 12, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve resolution number 10, resolution of the mayor and board of trustees of the town of Hochtown, McCurtain County, state of Oklahoma, establishing rules and procedures for public comment at town meetings.
One legal comment on this before you guys discuss or have any questions. We can adjust anything in here you want to. And also, just because you pass it this way today doesn't mean that after we do it a couple times, we decide there's maybe something we wanna change or add. This is, because it's just a resolution, not an ordinance, we don't have to publish or any of those sorts of things. This is easy for us to adjust. We just kinda wanted to have some minimum rules and procedures out there so that people have an expectation of how, public comment will go moving forward should you guys decide to adopt the resolution. The guidelines we have in here for now, just for edification purposes, are all persons seeking to comment must sign in at least 10 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. The sign-in sheet will require the parties seeking to be heard to include their name, contact information, and the agenda item upon which they want to be heard. Each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes. If you're speaking on behalf of a group, only one person from the group should be designated as the speaker for the group. Be courteous, polite, and respectful when addressing the board. Speakers may only speak about items listed on the agenda. Trustees are not permitted to respond to the speaker, but may only listen. Trustees may discuss comments during the relevant agenda item only, but not engage in dialogue directly with the speaker or other member of the public unless expressly included on a separate agenda item. These rules may be modified by resolution of the board. So that's kind of our minimum starting point to get this going for you guys, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Should this say something to where it's only for regular town meetings to differentiate between any special meetings? or
So
anything?
actually, it says up in the whereas part, this is good stuff. So the first whereas is about the Oklahoma Attorney General's opinion that says that public comment is not required at meetings. It is only on a meeting on which you guys put it on the agenda. The second whereas talks about why we see this as important, because we want the citizens of the community to have the opportunity to comment about things of public importance in a reasonable time and manner. And then finally, this last whereas answers your question. The town of Hochatown acknowledges that public comment will only be permitted when it is included as an agenda item at a town meeting, and that the guidelines set forth herein will govern all public comment if and when public comment is included on the agenda. So if it's not on the agenda at a particular meeting, maybe there's a meeting that we know is gonna go 2 hours because of something else we have to go have, we may not have public comment that night for procedural reasons. So this does not mandate that you have to have it at every meeting. It just mandates that when you put it on the agenda, this is how it will be governed.
Got it.
So that gives you guys a process to do it when you have it, and then if you're calling a special meeting because you need to come do like we had that one time, I just needed y'all to vote on something to sign. We're not gonna have public comment at that because it's such a short meeting and we're in and out, probably.
But as we progress with this, we can amend and change
Oh, yeah,
the ability
absolutely.
for us to respond, because
No, that's an Open Meetings Act issue. So if someone comes in and say, today they wanna talk to you about, the lodging tax. The lodging tax is not on today's agenda, so it would be difficult for them to talk about it anyway, because they need to talk about something that's on the agenda. The other problem with that is you all cannot talk about things that are not on the agenda because there's not been given public notice that your guys are gonna be talking about these things. So if someone comes in and talks about something not on the agenda, you can't respond. And you can't respond on an agenda item that is not that thing. So how you handle that is, say today somebody wants to talk about the animal sale ordinance. They can make a comment at the beginning, you can't engage in a dialogue with them, but when that agenda item comes up, you could address what they said during the agenda item. Does that make sense? But you're not supposed to have a dialogue back and forth during public comment because it can violate the Open Meetings Act. It has
so
to
if
be
it's
during your
on the
agenda
agenda, you
item,
can respond, you just can't.
during the
During the
agenda
During the
item.
agenda item.
Yes,
Right.
yeah.
But if their public comment is prior, then you have to wait until you get to the
Mhm.
agenda. Okay.
And you can't engage them when you're in the agenda item, you can
Yeah.
just respond to their statement at that time. And that
Okay.
gets really frustrating for the public, and it's why a lot of boards don't do public comment, because people don't understand that it's an Open Meeting Act violation if we start having a dialogue.
Sure.
And it's not during an agenda item, because we can't talk about the permits to sell animals right now, because that's not the agenda item we're on. We have to wait till that agenda item. So that's why the other reason, a resolution is not necessary for this, but it's the other reason we wanted to do it, is so that people understood, we're not engaging with you during public comment because we're scared to, but we're not allowed to under the Open Meetings Act. It just creates way too easy of a problem to have an Open Meetings Act violation if you start talking not inside the specific agenda item. So our council advice is to not have dialogue during public comment. It is a one-way conversation only.
Okay. Understood.
But if we limit the public comment to things that are on the agenda, it will give you the opportunity to address it in the agenda item, so that they're not left hanging. Yeah.
Is there a way or mechanism whereby citizens could request an item put on? the
It
agenda?
has to come through a trustee. Only trustees can put things on the agenda unless that's all I'm gonna say about that for now, under how we're currently set up.
And hopefully, once all the emails are set up,
But that's
99% of the
this
people
was
have a
that's
phone number,
representative
that's why we're
government.
here.
They
That's why
are.
we're here.
They
That's
are.
just like if you want
Call-
your
call us and talk
legislator.
to us.
Yeah, if you want your legislator to put forth a bill about something you care about, you as a citizen can't put forth the bill unless you do a petition and get signatures and all that sort of thing. You've gotta go through your legislature, but that's the idea. Hopefully, the constituents have a relationship with a trustee that they can reach out to and say, this is an issue that's important to me, can you help me get it on the agenda? That's how that process should be working.
I'll mention at the MCTA meeting yesterday, and we've talked to, Sarah Jane with Choctaw Nation. One of the things that we're looking at doing is the Civics 101 to get more of the organizations to kind of have the same public comment process. So it's not, oh, when I go to Broken Bow, I can do this, but when I go to Idabel, I do that. When I go to the fire department, it's this way. When I go to solid waste, it's that way. To kind of get everybody used to, you know, what your options are and what's legal and what's not. A couple of the other items were, each speaker is limited to 2 minutes, or there will be a limit of 10 minutes total.
Yeah.
And the first 5 people that sign up.
Yeah, I
get
don't
to
wanna
speak.
limit it to, I started to put a limit on how many people. I worry about limiting people, I'm okay with limiting time. So if we wanna say we're only gonna have 10 minutes, I'm okay with that.
And
I
then
just,
prorate the time,
yeah,
everybody gets 1
I
minute.
just hate to say we're, you know, I hate to be like, oh, you're the 6th person, well, no, we're just out of time. It's not that, you know, I know that that's the same thing mathematically, but legally it's a little different.
So do we wanna amend this with a total of 10 minutes total?
I'm okay with that.
I make a
And we
motion.
can decide if we have some really complicated town hall meeting, our agenda could say
Yeah,
that time was extended.
I make a motion, we approve the established rules and procedure for public meetings with the one,
Go ahead and say on the record what that change is
with
gonna be.
the,
I agree.
A total of 10 minutes
total of 10 minutes. Total,
with prorated time.
with prorated time, excuse me.
I think we should just say a total of 10 minutes. So item 3 will
You want me to
say,
say it again?
yeah, item 3 will say this.
Okay,
Our motion's
I
gonna
make a
be-
motion that we establish rules and procedure for public comment at town meeting, but we revise it for each speaker will be limited to 2 minutes for a total of 10 minutes.
That works.
Okay.
Okay, so do we have a motion to approve the amendment to the resolution?
Do it.
I think
Make a
that,
motion.
I think she made the
I think
motion,
she
I read
made
that
the
is.
motion.
Yeah, okay.
Second.
Yeah.
And then who seconded it? Howard. Okay, roll call vote on item number 12's amendment to the resolution. Howard,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Janet,
Yeah.
Adam? Yes, okay, so the amendment to the resolution has been passed. Do we have a motion to approve resolution number 10?
Oh, no, that's all you need to do.
Okay.
You're past it as amended.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We will get this posted on the website with all the resolutions. I think probably also we'll wanna maybe have a separate thing that says rules and procedure for public comment so that people know exactly where to access that.
Item number 13, discussion, consideration, possible action to adopt ordinance number 4, an ordinance of the mayor and board of trustees of the town of Hochtown, Oklahoma, amending the code of ordinances, title 6, police and public safety. I need a line reader. By amending the code of ordinances, title 6, police and public safety by creating a new chapter 4 to be titled animals, adding section 6-4-1, requiring license to sell dogs or cats and other animals within the corporate limits of the town of Hochtown, Oklahoma, adding section 6-5-1, establishing regulations and establishing penalties relating to the sale of animals, providing for codification, providing for severability, and declaring an emergency.
You guys have a copy of the ordinance. I have 2 proposed amendments. Janet, I spoke with Anthony at length, so this is helpful. So I would propose that we add in section 6.4.1, in addition to they have to have the permit, it's gotta be displayed, they have to give the purchasers a written statement which shall include a guarantee of good health for not less than 2 weeks, and they gotta have the permit. I would propose we add an item 5 that says the following, and whoever's gonna make the motion might wanna write this down, because you're gonna have to read it and there's no way you can read my handwriting. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
I think you wanna add, the application for seller's permit must include the location where such sales, say that 5 times fast,
Yeah.
such sales shall take place along with written consent from the property owner.
Must include location of such sale.
Include the location where such sale,
Bring it.
such sales shall take place and written consent from the property owner, because I know a big part of the problem is that we have people just plopping up wherever, and they're either on a public right of way, which we're gonna talk about here in a second, roadside, commercial parking lot, it's got to, wherever they are, whoever owns that property, we've gotta have something in writing from them giving them permission to be on that property to sell. And that has to come with their application before we will issue a permit. We have to have
And
that
that is
location and the consent from the owner.
that is the key, we have what we need now.
I can't remember
That's
that.
what
Yeah.
I was after.
Yeah, that's number 5, and then also under 6.5.1, we're gonna change that first paragraph. I propose that we change that first paragraph, strike without first obtaining a seller's permit through the town of Hochatown. There was some confusion on this section and it just didn't get drafted correctly. So it now will read, it shall be lawful for anyone to sell, trade, barter, lease, rent, give away any live animal on any roadside, public right of way, commercial parking lot, or flea market within the corporate limits of the town of Hochatown, period. And then we're gonna add a sentence that says, Janet, you're taking good notes, ready? The sale of animals can only take place on private property
Okay,
with the written consent
yeah,
of the landowner and a valid seller's permit. So we're backing that up in both
Yeah.
slots,
owner
and a valid seller's permit.
and balance sellers.
One question I had for you when I was talking to the ODOT guy about logistics on this, we don't have anyone that sells livestock within the town of Hochatown, do we?
Not this
Like
week.
in the town?
We're gonna sell ponies next week.
Not
Really?
yet.
I'm just joking, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
well, but there's not like an act like a farmer who has a sale lot within our
No.
limits, okay? Cause we could create an exception for that, but I was like, I just don't think we have that kind of property within the limits, okay? If for some reason we do, we'll
Revise it.
amend and make an exception, but
Yes.
I'd rather leave it the way it is now so that somebody doesn't come into the horse and try to sell it in some way.
It's already, they're already not allowed to be in the right of way to do this.
Right,
I mean, that's
Yes.
they're
already,
against the law,
that's already.
Right, but we're making that
it's,
Now it's enforceable.
abundantly
yeah.
clear. Well, it is already because ODOT was explaining to me that, yes, but this will now be very specific. Lots of stuff will be happening in the right of way. This is now specific to this
I
issue.
got a text from AJ in the Idabel ODOT office, so, they're looking to see if they have any signs. And they will be, if they do, they're gonna post a sign down there that says, no parking on right of way. Cause, they do not have permission from ODOT to use that little piece of
Strip.
encroachment.
They had to put the signs up at Grateful Head, if you guys remember several years ago. I mean, the ditch was full of cars and they had to put signs up that said, you can't park in the
Yeah.
ditch.
So as far as enforcement of this, I mean, I guess until we get someone hired as of right now, we can just go by and be like, guys, you're not supposed to be here, and if they refuse, then we're just.
There's nothing.
Well, there's another factor on that too, is that Anthony said that if it's causing a safety hazard, he will call the sheriff. And the sheriff can go
Yeah,
out there.
somebody, that was his biggest thing, is they
Yeah.
don't get involved unless it's like
A safety hazard.
public, yeah.
This is it. We actually do have some enforcement because the sheriff is responsible for all lawful county and state regulations for us.
Whether they'll do it or not.
But what they can do is request mutual aid and say, hey, park ranger, would you go down there and tell them they can't do that?
Yeah.
If they don't have time to come do it. So,
You know,
Can you give them a ticket? Like,
We don't.
no.
It's not gonna be enforced that way. It'll be, ultimately, when we have the police department, it'll be the police department. But the remedy in the ordinance is that if a person fails to obtain a permit after this notice, the police department will have the authority to impound the animals. So that'll, yeah,
do we have the permitting, can they purchase the permit on our website?
so we'll be able to.
yeah, we just gotta get all that set up. Once we pass this, is we'll create a permit with the information that they need to fill out. So here's the other question. I did not put the fee in here because we're passing all our other fees by resolution.
Yeah.
Do we want to put the fee for this one in here, or do we wanna leave it to the resolution?
I think we leave it to the resolution.
Cause somebody, if we get a call and somebody says, I want a permit, I don't have a fee to tell them right now, is my only concern.
Well, I think there needs to be some discussion
Yeah.
about that kind of fee in particular, because.
We got people selling $4,000 dogs.
Right, they're circumventing a lot of the responsibilities that brick and mortar businesses have to abide by. And they're kind of using the system and getting around that, so to me, a permit for that
I
particular
would recommend
business-
you guys go ahead and pass a fee for this one, because I would guess we get a call next week and I'm gonna need to help figure out how to issue a permit. And if we can say, sorry, you can't do it, but we also aren't willing to give you a permit, then I'm concerned about the legal ramifications of that.
Do we have any, permit fees that are, being utilized now in other?
There are some that are
areas?
auto set by our ordinances. It's a lot of the fees we didn't pass that we left to be passed by resolution are like licensing fees, business licensing fees, those sorts of things.
We
So
don't know
a
how
little,
much we would want that fee to be.
We're gonna
We're
move
not-
to that
that's
in a
gonna-
different agenda item.
well, it's not,
No.
yeah, we are, you're right, we
We're
are.
gonna do this in a
Yeah.
different
Okay,
agenda
okay.
item.
I would suggest for this, because it's almost, it's almost like some of the other ones that we did pass, fees on, like, violations of like safety ordinances. This is a little bit different than like a business fee. So it's up to you guys. We can always change it, but I would suggest if you wanna have
Let's
any
put something in
enforcement
there.
power in this, that we
Well,
go
I would
ahead
say
and
it's
put a
at
fee.
least $500.
That was what I've seen in the
If you think
ones
that's
I've
not
seen.
enough, or
500 is the number I've seen in other towns, but you,
Is that a fair price for a $4,000 dog? Multiple
I mean,
$4,000.
is that a yearly?
Well, I personally don't, I don't think that.
yeah, what do you think? You know a little bit
You're
about
the
this.
dog
Well, I mean, I've sold dogs at Canton before, so I don't think, a majority of the people selling the dogs here are selling them for $4,000. I think they're selling them for probably anywhere from $300 to $400, maybe $200, $500 maybe. That's just my opinion based off of what Canton, has an average, price. And it depends on the breed of the dog too, and the caliber of the pedigree and all those things and what they're bringing to the table. Sometimes you can sell them for more, 1,000, 2,000 for sure. But I would assume based off of what I've seen at Canton over the years that it's, it's a variation of what an individual charges for a pup.
But the
What would
bottom
you
line is,
say?
you're gonna have a hard time getting written consent from a property owner to set on the property to
Absolutely.
begin with.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's gonna be very limited.
But I'm at Todd here. $500, is that for a year? Is that a yearly permit? Is that a one
It's a
weekend?
1-year permit.
Well,
It's valid for
why don't
1
we limit
year.
it to a 48-hour permit?
I like that too.
Then you guys are gonna be issuing permits every single week.
Every week, if you don't sell a pup, or give it for a month. A
That's just
30-day
more-
permit.
Administrative burden on you guys, so
Yeah.
that's up to y'all.
But
I mean, maybe for now you do a longer one until you've got somebody full-time in the office to issue those permits,
We-
otherwise Helen's
yeah.
gonna be doing that.
We can amend this too, we
Yeah,
can change it, so maybe we
absolutely.
just get something started.
Mm.
And I think, just like you said, the
I mean,
fact that they're gonna have to
how
have,
many people do we
private
think are
permission.
gonna come up there
That's
and
what
we're gonna write us a check for
Yeah.
$500 next week for a year?
They've also gotta have property
And
owner
I've got all that
permission,
other
which, yeah,
paperwork, so. Okay,
I think that's
So
gonna
that
be the
permit-
issue.
I'm good with leaving it 500 for a year.
So
Yeah,
that
it says
permit will
500
have
for a
to
year.
include what property owner. So if they move to another
Written
property
consent.
owner, they'll have to get another permit.
Yes, they can only be on the property they've provided consent for.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That'll limit
How about we
it.
get 500
That'll
for
be a
6
big
months?
Well, that's what I was gonna say, do we do like 120 days or something, to see if we get our clerk hired?
Yeah, they'll do it too.
120 or 180 days.
I
Either
agree.
one, I'm good with either one.
About 180
Days.
days,
How many?
180,
6 months?
That's a 6 months.
yeah, do a 6 month.
maybe we do 250 for 6 months.
I like
Well, that way they're
500.
having to renew it.
I
You
just,
don't
I
like
don't wanna,
500?
well, and I don't know that, to me, that permit should be more than a brick and mortar business permit.
I agree.
Right.
I mean, it should because
The people who come in on the weekend and take advantage of all the hard work that all the locals have done all week long,
right.
by being empty and not being able to serve.
And we
because
have no
the
way
contractors are-
to
yeah.
police if they're paying their sales tax, which I promise they're not, and you know what I'm saying, so maybe we do 5.
Well, and we're also gonna be, as we move forward with zoning and planning, we're gonna have allocated areas where that can
I
all
wrote that
take
in there,
place.
yeah, I wrote in planning and
So-
zoning.
And
You
and the other thing is, does this have to be, does this thing have to be just for animals? I mean, last weekend we had a vendor out there that was selling,
Christmas
So-
trees.
That, we've got a separate ordinance
Yeah,
on that.
that's separate.
okay.
This is just for the animals.
But
Yeah,
I think
we
as
have-
long as we can amend and start at 500, I think that.
So do we wanna do 6 months for 500?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, where are we gonna put that in?
Give me just a second to look through here.
It's at.
Oh, item number one and
64.
64-1.
Yeah, so change
Yeah.
that to 6 months, but the fee needs to put in, any person who sells.
What do you say, 500?
We'd have to write it, it'd be added.
I'll send you guys a
So-
clean copy.
Where this says, are you gonna read all this or your motion?
Yeah.
I'll stand by it. Where this
Okay.
says applicable, cross that out and put $500.
Mhm. And then 6 months goes where? Oh, 6 months. It's hot here, guys.
Open the door. It's cooler outside, I think. Okay, wait, we got, item number 5.
Oh, number 5. The
The application for the seller's permit. Oh, you
Okay.
just wrote it up there. Okay, good, good.
I'm just
Okay.
making sure that the fee by resolution isn't said in here anywhere else. Give me just a second.
It's too loud, tell me and I'll shut it.
Yeah, the enforcement mechanism does provide for impounding and town citation. So a ticket.
What was that?
It does provide for, the animals to be impounded and the issuance of a citation. And you're liable to the town for the amount of the impoundment and boarding fees charged to the owner pursuant to this chapter. Just making sure the fee's not mentioned anywhere else. I think those are the only changes, so.
Do we wanna change those to pay online? Or not yet?
Well, it doesn't say,
We just say, maybe able to return to.
well, I think we need to at least put address, but when people get told they're approved, we can tell them where to send it, and I'm not worried about that. Yeah, that's fine. So, that's gonna be 500, that's gonna be 6 months, you're gonna add a number 5, and then you're going to
Add another 6.
read this as amended.
Oh, God.
Shouldn't that be lawful?
No, unlawful, we don't want them to be able to sell it on a roadside public right away.
Go ahead, Howard, you do it.
You get it written up already.
You can't read my handwriting, I promise you.
You never can read my writing.
So you don't need to say striking this, you just need to
Yeah.
say the first paragraph of section
Right.
6.5.1 shall be amended to say
Yeah.
it, and then read all of that. So, it's gonna be
Okay.
a long
Are
motion.
you good with
but-
it?
You wanna do it?
I mean, I can.
You do it.
Get you to drink a water first.
Yeah, and we need to make sure, this is being recorded, right? So that when Helen does her minutes, that full motion gets in there as the minute.
Okay. Let's see what
You make a motion.
Yeah, I'm just making sure I get to the right one. Okay, so for.
You put that microphone in front
Okay, so our action to adopt ordinance number 4.
I read the whole thing and then I say amended with the following amendments, and then read your.
Okay, 13. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to adopt ordinance number 4, an ordinance of the mayor and board of trustees of the town of Hochtown, Oklahoma, amending the code of ordinances Title 6, Police and Public Safety, by creating a new chapter 4 to be titled Animals, adding section 6-4-1, requiring license to sell dogs or cats or other animals within the corporate limits of the town of Hochtown, Oklahoma, adding section 6-5-1, establishing regulations and establishing penalties relating to the sale of animals, providing for codification, providing for severability, and declaring an emergency with the following amendments. Section 6-4-1, license to sell dogs, cats, and other animals. Any person who sells or offers for sale one or more animal pets must obtain a seller's permit and pay the $500 fee to the town clerk or other designated person as set forth in the resolution. Item number 1.
You don't need to read the whole thing, because if you have the amendments.
Oh, we're gonna change this to 6.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. Item number 1, amended to say each seller's permit shall be valid for 6 months. Adding item number 5, the application for the seller's permit must include the location of where such sales shall take place, and written consent of the property owner must be obtained. Section 6-5-1, the sale of animals. Do you need to read the whole first sentence or just?
Yeah, read the whole
Okay.
thing.
It shall be unlawful for anyone to sell, trade, barter, lease, rent, give away any live animal on any roadside, public right-of-way, commercial parking lot, or any flea market within the corporate limits of the town of Hochtown. To be amended with, the sale of animals can only take place on private property with the written consent of the landowner and a valid seller's permit.
Correct.
Do we have a motion?
That's your motion.
Oh yeah, that's the motion. Do we
A
have a
second.
second? For the animals, do we have a second?
Yeah.
Chad?
I did it. Second, Janet.
Okay, roll call vote, Howard,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
I,
Yes.
okay. We've adopted ordinance number 4, animals.
This
Yes.
next agenda item is just adopting the emergency clause, which lets us put it into place immediately. So you're gonna hear a lot of the same language, but it's just the emergency clause that is contained at the, section 4.
Okay, here we go, ready? Discussion, consideration, and possible action to adopt the emergency clause of ordinance number 4, an ordinance of the mayor and board of trustees of the town of Hochtown, Oklahoma, amending the code of ordinances Title 6, Police and Public Safety by creating a new chapter 4 to be titled Animals, adding section 6-4-1 requiring license to sell dogs or cats and other animals within the corporate limits of the town of Hochtown, adding section 6-5-1 establishing regulations and establishing penalties relating to the sale of animals, providing for codification, providing for severability, and declaring an emergency. Do we have a motion to adopt the emergency clause of ordinance number 4?
I make a motion, we adopt the emergency clause.
Do we have a
Chapter
second?
I'll second.
Chad. Roll call vote. Howard,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Di? Yes. Okay. The emergency clause of ordinance number 4 is passed.
So what we'll do now on that is just like our other ordinances, we'll publish in the paper, and then at the next meeting, you'll have a resolution that shows that we published it, and then it's getting recorded with the rest of the code, with the county and all those sorts of things, so a couple more steps, but
So for this weekend, we do nothing?
I don't know. There's paper coming out on Saturday.
well, it doesn't have to be published for it to be effective, it's effective immediately. We just have to make sure we publish it within 15 days, but it's effective right now.
Is this something we can post to the town's website, kind of as a, hey,
Yeah, all our
permits now required to
resolutions,
sell pets, kind of a.
all our resolutions will get posted, we just need to get Helen to stamp and sign these, which Di says she can take care of. I'll go make all the amendments to these and email them to you and Helen tonight so that you can sign them and get them posted.
And you guys said ODOT had, they were looking for,
Some signs that say stay off the grass.
okay,
Yeah. No parking on right away.
okay.
We can publish it in the Kearney County Community Facebook page for y'all as well.
Just go to the website tomorrow or down there if you want to. We'll try to get it up there by tomorrow.
Y'all gonna be able to get this up by tomorrow?
I think we can post that you've done this.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get it done as soon as we can.
I mean, they can't get permits or anything, but we just post that it's now a rule, and that's, does
Well,
what
we'll
you want.
post the ordinance.
Yeah.
I'll get this to you to just post on the website like everything else once Helen's been able to.
Okay.
All right, are we good with puppies? Okay, item number 15. Discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding calling for and taking applications from Hochtown residents to form a committee comprised of 5 non-trustees to provide input and recommendations to the town on the proposed town fees and penalties to be implemented pursuant to the town's code of ordinances. This is everything except for puppies that still needs these things. I think we did a great job of having a little short application for the P&Z committee. So now we just need 5, different types of people that would be interested. And we can put that online and say, submit.
Yes.
Yeah, as easy as it was to put the planning and zoning together, I think that was kind of the limit of people that were willing to help. So,
Don't say that.
That's not true. I got 219 people to call.
Well-
We only called the first 5.
Yeah.
So we
Well,
got
I mean-
214 left to
of
call.
all the people that I
I
asked
know.
about the zoning
Yeah.
committee, one said, yeah, I wanna do it. The rest of them was like, I don't really wanna, So I guess my question on this is, would these same people that are on the zoning.
I'd rather
that-
not. I I'd rather have new voices.
I'd say see who you get in, and we
Yeah.
can make, I don't think there's a limitation, I mean, we may have to pull one or two, but I would say let's put it out there and see what you get, and then we can discuss.
So the way this works is, we will come in here and go over the ordinance, just like we did today on the pass. Revise it, and then.
No, it's not
We
revised.
actually drafted the ordinances in a way that they could be passed by resolution, which is this, I know, like, resolution ordinance, what's the difference? There's different publication guidelines and all that, resolutions are way easier to amend.
It's
So,
just say-
we'll do all of the fees that aren't set forth in the ordinances in a single resolution, will be basically a fee schedule that'll tie back to the ordinances. So we drafted the ordinances in such a way that we could do them in a resolution instead of in the ordinances. The other thing that lets you do is you can change your fees at any time without having to change all your ordinances.
So, but this committee, but when we did all that, and we approved all that, it was with the understanding that we would go individually one at a time and go through them and.
Oh,
make
sure,
sure
on
that-
other,
yes.
yeah, on other issues,
And
but that's
then-
separate from the fees.
Okay,
The
and then
fees-
it would go to them for the fees, not necessarily.
Well, I think those are really kind of two separate issues. So if we have ordinances we wanna amend because of what they say or those sorts of things, we can do that anytime. Send me an ordinance you're ready to do. The ordinance of how we prepared them is instead of saying your liquor license or your business license or your, whatever different fee is X in the ordinance, we said to be set by resolution. That way we could separately in a document that's basically gonna be the town's fee schedule, you can go out and see, oh, a building permit cost me X. But we can, by doing it by resolution, we don't have to amend our whole code of ordinances every time, we just do a new fee schedule that we pass by resolution. But we thought because of the group of people that impacts, that it would be nice to have community feedback about what is fair for the town to be charging. Right now, while we can't offer a ton of services to them, maybe our fees are a little lower. And then when we are providing police or fire protection or sewer or water or whatever other things the town eventually is able to offer over the next decade, those fees can easily be adjusted to reflect the benefit that the businesses are receiving from the town's tax base.
Right.
So that was kind of the idea with setting them by resolution, and the idea with the committee is they will make recommendations, which are not binding on the board at all, but at least you guys would have input outside of this group of 5 about what people in the community think the appropriate fees should be.
Right. Okay.
So all this motion is to do is to allow us to go post on the website and start asking people to apply like we did for the planning and zoning. And then at the next meeting, you guys can select the 5 people to be on this committee. This is gonna be a multi-month process. We're not gonna be charging fees to anybody for 6 more months down the road, probably. But we wanna go into it with everybody feeling like they had a say in the process, which is the idea behind this.
Okay, I make a motion that we take, what is it? That we pass a committee of 5 non-trustees to, work on code ordinances
Well,
Fees
so-
and penalties.
and penalties,
Fees and penalties.
fees and penalties.
Okay, motion by Janet,
A second.
second Chad.
Check.
Okay.
Roll call vote, Howard,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Janet?
Yeah.
Di? Yes, okay. We'll get a committee together. Okay, agenda item number 16, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve obtaining insurance from OMAG for public liability for bodily injury shall not be less than $1 million, and property damage liability shall not be less than $200,000 as required by the town's lease for Hocha Town Hall. This is a little bit different than the insurance that we have now, because now we're talking about the building, that if we burn it down, Boga's gonna come see us.
Or if somebody gets hurt in here, or it's that kind of, it's a bodily injury and property damage liability, so it'll cover your contents.
Yeah.
And this language in the motion is pulled directly from what the lease requires. I've already submitted it to OMAG to get a quote, but I'd like to go ahead and have you guys approve that way as soon as they give us the quote, we can get that policy in place.
That was my question,
Yeah.
that's the minimum policy, but we haven't got hold on it yet. We don't know what we're spending yet,
Yeah, right.
right now, okay.
Yeah, but I'd like to go ahead and get permission to do that,
Yes.
because we need to get this place insured.
And that will be in addition to the,
The other OMAG
Yes,
policy.
yes.
This will also be with OMAG, OMAG, but it'll be separate coverage.
Chad, you good?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so do we have a motion to approve the, insurance from OMAG?
Make a motion to approve the insurance from OMAD.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Howard? Okay, roll call vote, Howard,
yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Di, yes. Okay, you gonna put that on your to-do list then?
I'm just
You
waiting.
got- Yeah.
Yep, as soon as he gets back to me, I'll let you guys know it's done and I'll get all that to Charles.
Okay. Item number 17, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve professional services agreement with the Oklahoma Municipal Management Services for recruitment of a town administrator and deputy town clerk in the amount of $12,000 plus expenses not to exceed $2,000. I wanna talk about this a little bit. George may have something. Right now, we're just posting it for free in all the places that we have, and we've closed the applications. We did 45 days, closed it January 15th, cause you know, over the holiday, people like don't go to work or something. We thought that we might just want to take no action on this until our January meeting to see how many good applications we get. I mean, why should we pay them $12,000 if we can get it on our own, or y'all just wanna?
No, I agree with
Go.
you. That was
Okay.
my thoughts, exactly.
Okay,
And I think that, we can reach out to a few of the, city managers across the state, which,
it's already on their website.
or, what's that again?
The city manager's website and the mayor's website, it's already, that job opening has already been posted on
Well,
there.
I'm saying, we can get some consultation during that time too on if there's any other avenues that they could.
Networking is such a great,
Cause I talked to OML this morning and they gave me a reference to El Reno, city manager and a few others, just to say.
Janet, not that works with me all the time on our stuff, is their attorney.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah,
Mhm.
I can
Okay.
make that
That's what
phone
I
call.
But I think Diane's right.
Yeah.
just take no action on item number 17.
You say we got it listed or posted everywhere else.
I meant 3 places, like at OML's website for job
Have
listings.
we put it in a local newspaper?
Yes, it's supposed to be printed in all 3 local newspapers.
And Liz, I don't know what you think about, ZipRecruiter,
I mean, I think you put it all, put it
but they
all
have
the
a very
places.
interesting way they can recruit. I found it, I didn't think that they would even be beneficial to an area like ours, but they actually do have
I
a
think
broad.
your most beneficial is gonna be the organizations wherein people that have these qualifications are
Yes.
members,
Yeah.
which is
Agreed.
kind of the places that George has helped
Mhm.
get it put out right now, OML, those sorts of things. Because they're gonna be getting an email saying, oh, new job, like I get an email posting all the time, like, oh, these new in-house general counsel positions, are you interested? And I delete. But I do get, like, they get those in their face on a pretty regular basis.
And I
So
do know,
those-
and I do know ZipRecruiter does the same thing. ZipRecruiter.
Yeah.
They-
You
they
can do by
allocate-
category,
Yeah, you
administrative,
put in
government.
administrative
What I
and-
don't know on the, and I say you post it everywhere.
Mhm.
What I don't know on those is, are they gonna get it unless they've signed up with ZipRecruiter to get
Maybe.
notices? Yeah, I don't know the answer to
Yeah,
that, but I
Mayor
say we
was looking
posted
at
all
some of
the,
those,
yeah.
to see which ones we need to pay for and which ones
Okay.
just.
Anywhere that we can do it for nothing or
Mhm.
very nominal expense, I mean, you never know who's gonna run across it.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of what I know George and them are doing right now already, and we wanna see how that goes before maybe we spend any money.
Yeah.
I think we should, just think about taking another look at this in January and see what we've got.
Make a motion to take no action on 17.
Okay.
I second.
Okay, roll call vote, Howard,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Janet? Yes. Yes, no action. And item number 17 for this month. Okay, item number 18, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve consulting agreement with Mark Borchet to provide advisory services relating to fire department, EMS services, and ISO ratings at a rate of $200 per hour, not to exceed a total of $10,000. Mark is the guru that took Frisco from a 10 ISO to a 1, which is nearly impossible to get. I think Idabel might be a 2. Can't remember. Idabel I think is pretty good. But that's one of the best things that we can do for our residents and businesses is get their insurance rates down from 8 to a 6 or a 5
Mhm.
and get this stuff turned in that hasn't been turned in. So.
Do we need to form another committee to work with you?
Absolutely, yes. So, Choctaw Nation already said they wanted in on the committee. I think we should put, obviously Oklahoma Forestry Service on the committee. Obviously one of us, maybe two of us, and
What
the.
about a volunteer?
Oh, absolutely, someone from the fire department, you know, maybe someone from the, rural fire departments up at Caddo, maybe get somebody from there. And then the Oklahoma Fire Chiefs Association, they said, we're happy to help, so, we've got those folks that are willing to come in and help us figure out, probably the OSU Fire Training Center, we got lots of people that,
I think
We need
Mark will
all the
probably
other-
have input on
who all
here
needs
are
to
the
be.
stakeholders we need to get in, that I
Right.
need to meet with, wouldn't you say, George?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we need to let Mark coordinate this instead of one of us doing it.
Just one correction, it's Mac.
Say that again?
It's Mac.
Oh, Mac.
Oh, Matt.
Oh, sorry,
Okay.
yes, it's Mac in the consulting agreement, but
Okay.
your attorney spelled it wrong in the agenda, so.
No,
Okay,
no,
Make
no.
your motion and
Yeah.
then.
I just thought if I didn't
Mac.
correct it, you said, well,
Yeah, okay.
he's there,
You
you
get the
tell
right
us.
one here, Matt, yeah. Okay, so item number 18 is.
So-
Go ahead.
On that also, I mean, I was thinking that you wanted some look at, fire equipment needs for the future and fire department needs for the future, so is that part of it, or?
I think that's
All
a
of
discussion to have with Mac, is what all needs to be included, what equipment do we already have, what's needed? You know, 4 stories is kind of the max we've set on building height, but that's why I think he absolutely would need to advise us on all of those things.
So if you approve this, what I would do is I would ask Mac to get with each one of you individually and kind of talk about what you think the needs are and what you'd like for him to specifically look into. And then,
Yes.
then I guess I can coordinate that and send that out to everybody and make sure that there's not any.
Well, and
But-
I think forming a committee with a trustee on it and some of
Okay.
these other stakeholders is probably, and do a meeting kinda like you guys did on the road study.
This is
An
I'd rather
initial
meet with
meeting.
professionals.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think setting up an initial
Mhm.
meeting with 1 to 2 trustees, the volunteer fire department, and the forestry service,
Mhm.
maybe those key
The stakeholders.
stakeholders. And then they can maybe help.
I would assume that part of this
Determine
will
this.
be, also be looking at the equipment the fire department has to see if they need.
This was said, that's
Yeah.
why we
Okay.
need to
All of
involve
that.
the county commissioners,
And the
Oklahoma
volunteer-
Forestry, so I'd rather, you know, if Matt can work with us with this committee,
Yeah, okay,
who can recommend, I don't think anybody at this table is qualified to recommend what kind of equipment we need,
yes.
you know,
Okay.
I mean, it would be a waste of our time and Mac's time. I think we need to go.
Well,
start-
no, I meant for him to look in, not that you were telling him what equipment was needed, for
Okay.
him to look at it and tell you what he thought.
That's what I'm saying, yes, that's what we need, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, any more discussion on fire consulting?
So, I don't know how to say it, how do we, you're limited into, it's $200 an hour, for, $10,000 cap for 6 months, you know what I'm reading?
And we can do amendments and
What do we
supplements to
have to
this.
do, $10,000 ain't gonna last long, $200 an hour, is what I'm saying, that 1 week meetings, 40 hours, they only cover 40 hours a week. So,
We can do a lot of Zoom stuff.
I mean, you can do it however you want to.
Yeah,
You-
I mean-
Yeah.
We could go into a month or two and report and make sure that you're satisfied with what's being done.
I don't want him to be here, I don't want him to sign this and be, in 2 weeks' time, come back to us and say, I've reached my cap.
No.
And then say, I can't go any further without the
Yeah.
approval. Do
No,
we
we're trying
need
to-
to do anything different here?
Look, he does this for other cities also,
Okay.
and so we kinda kept the rate at what he's charges other cities, because in other cities heard he charged something different to y'all that, but, he kinda knows that we're trying to do this at, as cost effective as possible, so I don't think there's gonna be any issue for the first 1 or 2 months, and then, again, I think you're gonna need some reporting back to make sure that you're getting what you think. you need.
Exactly.
So-
Some type of responsibility back to us, some type of report back to us, some
Yes.
like
Did,
where we stand, what we're doing.
Yes.
Okay, I just didn't know if we needed to add something more to this or leave it as it is.
I think we could just, maybe look at each board meeting and.
Okay, as long as we have some input every 30 days of where we stand, and we need
Yes.
to add more to it, or
Yes.
how we doing? Okay.
Yes, we do.
You just said, for 6 months, and am I missing
On
that?
the second page, Article 3, terms. It shall be for a period of 6 months commencing on
Okay.
evening date,
And maybe renewed for consecutive
And
1-year
maybe
terms.
renewed for a year, but
And is this something that can wait till we have a city administrator so that they can be involved from the get-go?
And perhaps they can even say, you know, I've got a dude that I've been working with that they would like to work with.
I think they could bring their dude in if they have one. I think we're months away from hiring a town administrator at best. I think we have fire issues today. I'd rather get this started and blend in with the town administrator. They're gonna have a million things they need to do anyway, and then find out we haven't even started.
Well, I think we could kind of treat it like we're treating the Garber thing. The first meeting with
Yes.
Garber was just an
Yes.
exploratory kind of, what do
See
we,
what
what do
we
you
need.
want from us? What do we
Exactly.
need? And then they can come back with, okay, here's kind of some options to get you there.
Mhm.
And then once we start fine tuning and detailing our plan moving forward, then hopefully by then we've got a city planner or a city administrator in place and they can step in.
And you can always hand it off, you know,
That's what I'm saying.
in 6 months to a year, cause it may take, like OML told me this morning, some cities it takes them a year plus, some two. We
As I
don't
said,
want
I
it to be
hate to
that
not get
long, but
started.
it may be you know, it may be 2 months, it may be 6, hopefully not.
From a legal perspective, you can get out of this thing in 6 months, or you can just not use them at all, cause he's charging you by the hour.
Right.
So if something changes when you hire a town administrator, you're not stuck in this. The other benefit it has is once you get a town administrator here, you've least articulated your goals at that point. Without, you're not gonna be that far down the road by the time the town administrator's here, so a little bit of jump ahead if you get started on it. And you're not stuck in a multi-year contract.
All right.
And not to jump ahead, but, you know, we're fixing, what we just said, we're fixing to say all over again on number 19.
Yeah,
So keep that in mind.
Just finish 18.
Okay.
Okay, everybody ready for 18?
All right, I make a
Right,
motion,
for 18, yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the action to, do an agreement with MAC,
Thank you.
whatever his last name is.
Borchardt.
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay, it's just like Humphrey Bogart,
Okay.
but it's not, but it's the German spelling of Bogart.
Oh, okay.
well.
Borchardt.
To advise advisory service for fire EMS iOS ratings.
Okay, Janet made a motion, do we have a second?
I'll se-
Chad?
I'll second.
Was that Chad or Todd?
Todd.
Todd. Okay, Todd. Okay, roll call vote, Howard,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Janet,
Yes.
Di? Yes. Okay, I did talk to, EMS this morning, so it, you know, and I talked to Sarah Jane yesterday, so we've got a good group already started of who wants to be involved, so George and I can get together and we'll keep moving on this, okay? Motion passed. Okay, item number 19, same discussion, just insert the word police instead of fire. Discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve a consulting agreement with Greg Ward regarding police department development and operations, meeting with the client's board of trustees, the trustees, and various other local, state, and tribal officials at a rate of $200 an hour, not to exceed a total of $10,000. Okay. Pull that up. I think this is gonna be the same thing. We have so much multi-jurisdictional stuff between county, sheriff, OSBI, the light horseman with tribal. We do have some issues with Broken Bow and the Strip Annex. Who's getting speeding tickets? Park rangers, game wardens, federal game wardens. Did I miss anybody? I mean, we've got a lot of coordinating to do, and what we'd like to do is just have Greg come on board and start organizing all of those people to say, what would a Ho Chi Town Police Department look like, and how would our mutual aid work with all of these other organizations? Any discussion on this?
Just some background on Greg real quick, since you don't know him, Adam. He was with the Frisco Police Department. Our chief, back in about 2018, decided he wanted to go to a cooler climate, so he moved to the state of Washington. And so we appointed Greg. We tried to find somebody within the department. He was deputy chief, who would come in and be the interim chief, but would agree not to apply to be chief, so that we wouldn't have that going on. So just to be totally upfront about it and open, Greg did such a good job. I actually went to him individually and said, I'm releasing you from your promised not to apply. to
Previous
the
agreement.
chief. And, he looked at me and said, no, he said, I wanna help whoever comes in to do the best job possible, so I'm gonna help the new chief. So, he's I guess I'm gonna phrase it, he's kind of a professional good old boy. And, that he's very, every day, you wouldn't know him from anybody else who walked in the room, but he's just as professional as I've ever seen anyone be, but he has a unique knack to get along with people. And, that's, very important for a police officer. You don't want someone that,
Especially here.
somebody wants to fight.
So the message there is don't put him in a contract not to apply for the full-time job, is that what we're
No,
hearing?
I'm not saying that. I just want you to
What a
know
great guy.
what high esteem I held him in and what a great job he did and how well he gets along with people. And, when y'all start, you had mentioned a time too about possibly go ahead and going forward with hiring a police chief or something like that. He would be someone that could really come in here and kind of help, I think, talk to everyone involved. I told him about how important the Choctaw Nation would be to talk to. But he would talk to all these different groups and really try to tell you what you need, talking to each one of you about what all do you want enforced and how do you see a police department operating here. I once applied for a city manager position down in South Padre Island, and I didn't get the job. But down there, they told me that they thought I was too Dallas-like. That was the land of Siempre Mañana, and I wasn't from the land of Siempre Mañana. So, but they told me that you've got to do things a little bit different in a resort town, and so I think he'd be cognizant of that, where you need to enforce the rules, but at the same time, you want people to come back.
Right.
Unless they're just so bad you don't want them to come back. Most of them you're going to want to
We're
come
not a
back.
speed trap for going 2 miles over the limit.
So it's all those little things that nuances of operating in a city like this, and especially being brand new, it'd be so important to get off on the right foot and find the right person, be it male or female, to be chief with the right attitude, aptitude to get the job done.
Yeah, that's why I'm a proponent of getting some professionals in to help us.
And just a little bit of deal, I was a police officer back in the 70s. I worked my way through college as a police officer.
I knew that little tidbit.
I know just enough to be dangerous on the police business, but I do know enough to tell a real professional from someone that probably shouldn't be doing the job.
Thanks, George, that was helpful.
Okay, make a motion to take action to approve the consulting agreement with Greg Ward for the police department development.
Okay, Janet made a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Janet, okay, do we have a roll call vote? Howard,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Todd,
Yes.
Janet,
Yeah.
Guy, yes, okay, item number 19. Item number 20, any new business, any matter not known or which could not have been reasonably foreseen prior to the time of the posting of this agenda. Anything new?
Just FYI, guys, this came in the mail from Diane, got a regional flyer, it's laying right here, Diane, that's what came in.
Oh,
And I just made a copy for everybody. There's a conference coming up in February. They're about all the city officials, not just mayors. I'm gonna try to go, get back up to her mayor, cause I know she wants to go. She needs to be there. So, anyway,
This is an awesome,
it's a two-day
no, we went
event
to a different conference, the one you and I went to.
in February.
That was the annual conference, but yeah, this is a good group of people, and, in fact, they had a little dinner in Fred's, I think last Friday night, and I already got applications for municipal judge, so attending this stuff is great to meet people, so I do encourage you guys to participate in some of these events.
And on the unforeseen business, I do have one thing I want to discuss, is Airbnb. They still have a refusal to accommodate and apply the taxes that need to be applied.
I have that on my agenda to talk to you afterwards, and I talked to Mayor this morning about that,
Yeah.
and we're probably gonna be sending them a legal letter.
That was my
Yeah,
next comment.
so, yeah, we do have we talked about that at the beginning, we do have to pay your online taxes now, but I think we wanna take some legal action so that we have it on the record, and all of our owners that are sending me 100 messages and Janet's 100 messages.
And I also think if we could get somebody from the state to help us, like,
I made a phone call there this morning too.
alright,
Yeah.
never mind.
Thinking a lot.
No, that's good, Todd, because I'm on that one.
Good.
Okay,
Board your meeting started.
Somebody gonna move to adjourn?
It was
Yeah.
pretty much just, they wanted to know what our priorities were. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of just, but it was basically, we laid out what we felt was the priorities that needed to be addressed first, and then they gave us kind of a timeline, and, said we'll get started, and so, I guess we'll see here in, I think it was 90 days. Was that- Right, about 90 days, I think.
Is this regarding?
Garden,
Oh, yeah.
in the road.
alright, do we have anything else, anybody? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I seconded it.
Who's second?
I did.
Todd? Okay, roll call vote.
Ellen always takes that.
Okay, roll call vote. Howard?
Yes.
Chad?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Yes. Motion adjourned, meeting adjourned at
And I had requested that
2:21.
CAD file from
Yeah.
the claims.
These are
Every time
so
since we met,
good.
and I had yet to get
Yeah,
it.
yeah.